Have I got more to do? Oh god, I have so many more. There's so many more to talk about. Oh my god, hey, and welcome back to my kingdom of stagey isolation. So one thing that I've been doing while I'm in lockdown, waiting for this pandemic to pass so I can get back into a theatre, is spending a lot of time on social media, especially Twitter. And on stagey Twitter recently, there is one particular tweet that has been doing the rounds, and it's to do with controversial Broadway opinions. We're going to have a read through these, we're going to see what we think. Nicole Raquel Dennis, queen that she is. She plays Alana in Dear Evan Hansen at the moment, and she is going to be Effie in the upcoming UK tour of Dreamgirls. She tweeted, "Broadway and West End don't think plus-size people can tell human stories. Only apparently comedy roles and shows where the topic is weight." How true is this? Like, you've got Hairspray and you've got Effie in Dreamgirls. Those are your big sort of plus-size female musical theatre protagonists. And it's because the narrative is their weight. There are songs about it in each of these shows where they are the fat girls. These visual tropes of what people have to look like to be considered attractive is horrifying. At Auntie Willie McKendy tweeted, "When the West End gave us a black cassette, racists used a lack of consistency as the only reason they hated a black woman playing this role. Racism asks, why is the older cassette black? A lack of consistency narrative would also ask, why is the younger cassette white?" Here is the thing, I spoke with her about this the other day, we were chatting, and there was this huge backlash when Amara was playing cassette, and she was a black performer playing cassette in Les Mis in London. People were saying, well, young cassette isn't black, so it takes me out of the story. Here is my issue with this. If you are willing to suspend disbelief that these people in front of you singing in Cockney accents, if you're willing to suspend disbelief enough to realise, to like convince yourself that that's real, but you draw the line at seeing a white child turning into an adult black woman, like, you just saw the child and 2 minutes later she's an adult and you're like, I believe that, but not if she's black. Why is that your line? Why is that the line? Also, people did not have this problem when there was a black Eponine in the West End. Why do you have an issue with a black cassette who gets to wear a lovely bonnet and a pretty dress and fall in love with Marius, but you don't have this issue with black Eponine who gets shot and killed and has mud on her face and is poor? Question that. Roman Wellington Banks tweeted, "The next Heidi Hansen should be black." Yeah, I said it. I agree with this. I love that energy. Can you imagine, like, Montego Glover as Heidi Hansen? Or Audra? Audra McDonald, Heidi Hansen. Audra McDonald is really more of a Cynthia Murphy. Renee Elise Goldsberry, Heidi Hansen. Ah, yes, that's it. Such interesting, diverse casting you could get with Dear Evan Hansen. I'm bored of white people in Dear Evan Hansen. Let's mix it up. I've got another one from Willie McKendy. She's tweeting today. She says, "I hate, capitals, hate stunt casting, especially when the person can't sing. I don't care what following they have in their industry. If they are not great, they shouldn't be in this one. Don't at me." I feel like in the UK especially, people can be very two-faced about stunt casting. Like, people will complain, and then Sarah Bareilles goes into Waitress, and you can argue whether or not that's stunt casting, but she's not a trained actress. Sarah Bareilles goes into Waitress, and the entirety of West End theatre falls over each other to get tickets. Like, the hit of the summer is Whoopi Goldberg and Jennifer Saunders in Sister Act. Not trained musical theatre stars. I had tickets, because I think it was going to be amazing. The other hit of the summer was going to be Jake Gyllenhaal in Sunday in the Park with George. A movie star. Stunt casting. As much as you draw people who might not sometimes go to the theatre into the theatre with stunt casting, you don't keep them there with a bad performance. Stunt casting has to be good to actually gain new theatre fans, but the producers at the time don't care about that. They care about getting their show to sell. Alex Thomas Smith tweeted, "People will think a show is diverse because it has 3 POC cast members, but an all-white creative team / crew / management. We want equality, not diversity." This is so true, and something I think producers are very guilty of, because obviously the cast is what you see, but it's so much harder to interrogate the authenticity of a creative team or a backstage team because you can't see it. It's not diversity that audience members are able to see, so it's something that's very much easier for them to keep hidden. Also, here is my issue with diversity casting in the West End. I feel like there are shows where the producers just agree, well, that's the ethnic role, that's the diverse role. Heather Duke in Heathers, in the original off-Broadway production, was played by an Asian actress and then by a black actress. Comes over to the West End, played by a black actress with a black understudy. And the white Heathers were understudied by white girls. Sis the Activist, at You Can Call Me Sis, tweeted, having black understudies to a white lead is racism at its core. The talented black person can only go on when the white person is out, so it's more of an accident and not deliberate. I co-sign this narrative, absolutely. This is more of a thing on Broadway, purely because in the West End, if the principal is white, the understudy tends to also be white. A lot of the time. Not always, but often. So like on Broadway, the first ever Jean Valjean, who was black, was an understudy. The first black Glinda was an understudy. The first black Elphaba was an understudy. I feel like the cast of Mean Girls all have black understudies, but not black principals. So they're good enough to go on for a paying audience, but not good enough to be on your front of house advertising, or just not good enough to play a principal role. What's up with that, Broadway? Not okay. At Idris K tweeted, I'd like to see an Asian, black or mixed race Mary Poppins. That would be iconic. That would be iconic. Yes, Mary Poppins. That's not even a controversial Broadway opinion. That's just great. At Midnight Chance, actual teenagers should be playing teenagers in shows. Jagged Little Pill got it right with Celia and Antonio. I feel like this is more of an issue if you're seeing it through high definition bootlegs. If you're in a theatre, a lot of the time, you can get away with playing slightly younger. I feel like early 20-year-olds can still pass as teenagers. It depends on the context of the show. And there's a duty of care to teenage actors as well. I don't think they should be doing 8 performances a week while they're still in full-time education. I feel like that's a lot. You wouldn't ask it of the Matildas, you wouldn't ask it of the Billy Elliots. At Corin Priest tweeted, undiscovered performers still exist after their graduating year. There are more than 13 people in the industry. Yeah, I feel like I'm seeing the same few recently graduated performers a lot, up-and-coming performers, except if you've done 2 West End shows, understudying leads in both of them, I don't know if you're still as up-and-coming as the people straight out of drama school who are just trying to book their first job. And like in the Theatre Cafe concerts, and in the Roles Will Never Play concerts, and in a lot of the stuff that Paul Taylor Mills produces, like MT Fest, it is the same few people given a platform and showcasing their amazing voices and their huge talents, but I want to get to know new voices. There are how many drama schools? There are how many people doing the MT course in each year? That's so many new actors a year that I don't know about. That upsets me. I want to know them. Taylor at Taylor's Navi tweeted, original cast doesn't equal automatically best cast, perhaps just stan actors for their talent and not for whether or not they're as good as the original, with one of those emojis where they're painting the fingernails. Like, I think sometimes people can gatekeep shows by saying things about the original cast. I see this a lot with Be More Chill as well. People say like, oh, but I preferred the New Jersey version and I can't believe they've changed that. And I'm like, yeah, it's been years. Move on. It's been years. Get over it. Just because someone can hit high notes doesn't mean they should 8 times a week. I've spoken about this many times. There is no good reason for Elphaba not to have an alternate. Christine Daae in The Phantom of the Opera has an alternate, and many actresses who have played Christine say, it's alright, she didn't really need one. But I'm sure it's nice to have 2 performances off a week, and what it means is, A, because Elphaba gets a 2-performance rest, you're more likely to see the Elphaba you want when you go to the show, and it gives a great opportunity, 2 performances a week, to a young alternate who maybe doesn't have the chops or the Broadway credits to get the main part, but has all of the talent to play it for an audience. So have an alternate. More shows should have alternates. Everyone can have an alternate. All the big leads can have alternates. Why not? Why not? Why? If you disagreed with any of these opinions, feel free to fight me in the comments section down below. Let me know your thoughts on any of the topics we've covered today. If you would like a fuller version of any of these videos, me talking about bootlegs, me talking about diversity casting, any of these things, please let me know. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Make sure you head over to Twitter, quote tweet that tweet for yourself, and share your controversial musical theatre opinions. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you're subscribed to my channel for more stagey content coming very, very soon. I hope everyone is staying safe and that you have a stagey day.